we've added like six figures per month with working with you. And yeah, we just don't have to worry about anything anymore, like with the customers, like clients, like the product. Like we just don't have to worry about anything anymore. We all hear the horror stories of hiring agencies and stuff like that, and 95% don't know what they're doing, but you're definitely a top 1%, 0.01% type of agency and type of person. So
So, Alec, good to see you. You are head of marketing sales at M on the Brain Culture Program. Great to have you here today. So, I'll let you quickly introduce yourself.
yep, I'm Alex Sines. I help Emily. I'm on the brain with all of her with the coaching program, do the marketing stuff, the sales stuff, just the behind the scenes person that help. She focuses on the content. I do the coaching and or not. I don't do the coaching. I do the behind the scenes marketing, sales, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, how many followers? Let's talk, give people context here, okay? So, Emily's kind of like, in my opinion, a celebrity of her industry. So, how many followers does she have on Instagram?
Well, I know she would love to hear that. We were talking about that yesterday, actually, but yeah, she has 1 million now. So she's got,
Wow.
1 million on Instagram, probably a little bit more than that, but it just says 1M on Instagram.
Crazy. So, a lot of money potential and a lot of brand potential. So, your product
Yeah.
has to be great to keep the reputation just as great. So, we've been working together for what, 4, 5, 6 months now? I'm not sure, something like that. Fair amount of time.
Yeah, I think since January, right?
Yeah,
Has it
something
been
like that. Crazy.
maybe December? Yeah,
I
December,
think it was
January.
December, yeah, just before Christmas, actually. Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think it
your
was.
CSM started in the new year. That was it.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, it was December.
So let's go right to the beginning and see what made you decide to reach out and say, hey, I need to work with Kiri and his business. What was that indicator?
Yeah, well, the indicator for that was, I would say, the program was growing, and the way we were doing it was like we were giving people direct access to Emily, right? She has a lot of followers, and her like with a coaching program, like you don't want to be spending tons of time like in the business basically rather than like working on it, right? And Emily's not, she's her thing is social media. Her thing's not like, being a I don't want to say a babysitter, but it was becoming a little bit too much for her, I would say, with like people responding and like as the community grows and as more people messaging, her, it's, she wants to respond to them, but also like you can't be in the DMs all day, every day, right? And so I would say there was just a lot of it was just becoming a little bit too much for Emily, and I kind of sensed that, and we wanted to obviously continue to grow the business each and every month. And it's just like if we kept doing what we were doing, then like it would have just she would have gotten like extremely burnt out, and then there would have been it probably would have just, we would have had to shut it down, right? And so I would say there was just kind of like a need for more help. And I didn't, I saw Emily was getting a little bit like burnt out with responding. And obviously, like if someone sends a message, she wants to respond. And if she doesn't respond, then she feels bad. But also, it's just kind of having those boundaries with her time, energy, efforts, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I remember a very pivotal moment during the sales call actually, and that before that, when you said to me that there was a moment where you were scared of onboarding more clients because fulfillment was about to break. Do you remember that?
No, I remember that 100% because I was like, I don't, yeah, 1,000% I remember that because that's just the way I felt. I was like, I could tell that like it was becoming too much for her. And so I was kind of like, I felt like a little bit like guilty if we were bringing in more people because it's like, knew that it was becoming too much. And if I was like bringing more people in and, we were adding to that, then like subconsciously I was like, I felt guilty about it. And so it was just kind of, not a good, yeah, not a good mix.
Yeah. So what we did for you guys obviously is we added some systems and a team into your business. So we have a customer success manager. So since adding all of those features into your business, how has life changed? How has business grown? How's it going?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's odd. Like I would say, honestly, the best decision that we've made by far. Business has grown. Yeah, I would say we're like able to focus on growing the business now. Um, well, I mean, that's my job, primarily, but I I don't have to worry about like people like, just in the program. Like I don't have to worry about the clients and their success and like all that good stuff. And so it's allowed us to focus on growing the business. I mean, we've grown like, we've added like six figures per month with working with you. And it's really, t it's just allowed me and us to focus on growing the business. And now that we know that every client that comes in, it's like, we have a really good system in place where like they're going to be taken care of, they're going to be babysat, they're going to be they're going to be taken care of, extremely well. And that ease of mind of like making sure that they're taken care of, it just allows us to really like focus on firstly growing the business and also like not feeling like I don't want to say guilty about it, but it's like okay, like people are getting great results. People are happy. People, I mean, we were talking about it earlier, like, the clients are like super happy, you know what I mean? And they're getting great results too, which is cool. So it's really just fo allowed us to focus on growing. I mean, like I said, we've added like, six figures monthly, and it's just freed up a lot of time as well because we don't have to sit in the group all day and just make sure every single person's questions getting answered right away and all that stuff. Like it really just frees up a ton of time, you know?
Yeah, and one thing that I've talked about this a lot in my interviews with people is a lot of people don't think they can bring a customer success manager or a coach into their business because like they're not the expert, the subject matter expert, they're not the king of the kingdom. How do you feel that the CSM you've placed for you, Esther, an amazing woman, how do you think for you she's like taken to your business? And yeah, just talk about the CSM experience and what she's like.
Yeah, no, Esther's amazing. I mean, from the first she was like honestly she was the only person that we wanted to work with that we saw that we were like dang she definitely stands out, you can just kind of tell. And our intuition was right with that because people seem to love her. Like she's awesome, she's amazing, she does a really good job. I mean she's just like she's amazing, like she's the best person we could have ever hired for this. And that was kind of like a little bit of a fear that I had as well, like what you're saying, and Emily as well, because like Emily talks about, she's an actual like scientist, right? Like she's was in a PhD program, like has a master's degree and everything like that. So she's like a legitimate scientist, and I think a lot of people are attracted to her because, a part of that. Um, that was a little bit of a worry because, it's like, okay, people are joining the program to work with a scientist or, someone like with that stature and those degrees and all that stuff. And so I was a little bit worried about it, whenever we started, but it hasn't been an issue at all. Like, if anything, it's more of a, I'd say if anything, it's more of a plus because Esther's like, she just does a really good, like, she's very smart, first of all. And she just like it just hasn't been an issue. There's been zero people that have ever brought up like, oh, well, Esther's not a scientist, right? And so Esther's been really amazing and it hasn't been an issue at all.
And have a lot of people also have this concern. They feel like they would have to babysit a CSM or like overly manage them because even though we're managing her for you, they're still like, oh no, I can't hire another person because it's just gonna add to my plate. Did she add to your plate?
No, not at all. Like, no, I mean, absolutely not. Like, I feel like I'm like sometimes I feel like guilty. Like, I'm like, should I be reaching out to her more? Like, should I be like, sometimes I'm just like, damn, should I be talking to her more? Should I make sure she's okay? And like, sometimes I'll send her a message like, once or twice a week, be like, hey, like, just checking in. How's everything going? But literally didn't add anything to my plate at all. Like, and that's kind of where you come in is like just trusting you and like you've been awesome the entire time and like more like super helpful. Like me and Emily were talking about like, damn, Curry's like super helpful. Like he just helps with so many different things. Like he's amazing. And so yeah, no, I mean you've really taken care of that. Like I said, I literally feel guilty sometimes. I'm like, should I be trying to talk to Esther more? Like, should I be like, should I make sure that she's okay more? But yeah, there's no like it's added nothing on my plate at all. And I think that's because she's like so good at her job and she doesn't need to be babysat. And that's like a testament to you as well and like a really good, business program that you have for her as well.
And I think that as a business grows and you need those departments where the machine can just run on its own, I think that's something that you're starting to see now. And you're like, wow,
Yeah.
like you've seen it in fulfillment. And I'm seeing you guys slowly hit those six figure months because now you're no longer in fulfillment. So, like going forward in the next 12 months, how do you see? How do you see the business growing now? You don't have to fulfill and you can just put all your brain power into how do we drive as much business, like much growth into this business?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like the sky's the limit really in the sense of like kind of like what you said. It's like we now have a team that we know we can rely on and, trust to fill in these gaps. And I think before I was always kind of questioning like how will this grow because it's like we're not going to get a scientist to do the coaching with these people like Emily can. Um, and that was kind of a little bit of a worry. But now it's like we have like a legit, it's like a legitimate business. Like, obviously there's like we don't have many employees, but um we have people that we can trust, and having that trust allows us to like, okay, we can really focus on growing the business, right? And so I mean, I would say, yeah, this guy, like Emily just has such like obviously Emily's like, very unique and special of a lot of people that sell info and um they do these types of things. Like she just has, I would say her brand is very reputable and we intend on keeping it that way. And I think that we can really focus on growing the business because we ethically, because we know we have a really good product and we have a good people, a good team that are taking like people that are aligned, that are taking care of the people that come into this because we really do care about the people that are in this program. Like we want to make sure that they are successful and they have everything that they need to be successful. And so now that we have, Esther and she does a really good job, it's like we can really like we don't have to feel guilty about bringing people in because it's like no, like this is a really good program. We have a really good person in Esther that's taking care of them. And now it's like we just, you just need to find more good people and we can, there's like, that's why I said the sky's the limit because like there is really no limit on what we can do. Like, as long as we have the team to support that, and we have the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I like to touch on is, as you know, we manage a lot of culture programs, we have lots of clients. A lot of people come to us for the whole, CSM setup, customer success setup. How have you found the actual the consulting component of our business too? Because I'm pretty sure we've given you a lot of consulting over the last 3 months. How's that helped you?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's been like extremely helpful. And like I said, you're extremely helpful in more ways than we could possibly imagine. Like you offer to jump on calls and just like, share ideas and like the consulting side has honestly been, extremely helpful. Like I said, you've literally helped, like you go out of your way to help us. And we really appreciate that. And like I said, Emily and I will talk about that. Like, damn, Cree's so cool. And like whenever you ask, like, would you be down to do it like interview thing? I was like, of course, like 1,000%. Like I would, if you asked me to do anything, like I would do anything for you that I can help with, of course, just because you've been so helpful to us. And so the consulting side has been, extremely helpful. And I think it's funny because whenever I found you on Twitter the first time, I remembered I booked in the call with you because I was like, we want to do a low ticket thing. And that's what my head was thinking. I was like, oh, like we need to do a low ticket thing. Like, like that's where my head was at. And then you kind of like redirected that. And just so the consulting side has been like, I mean, just as helpful, if not more. You know what I mean? And so shout out to you because you know you don't have to do that. And there's a lot of agencies out there that they don't know like they don't know what they're doing. And we all hear the horror stories of hiring agencies and stuff like that. And 95% don't know what they're doing, but you're definitely a top 1%, 0.01% type of agency and type of person. So the consulting has been, I mean, like invaluable in the best way possible.
If you were going to recommend working with our business to anyone, what would you say the top few reasons are? Why would you say, hey, you should work with Kieran and his team because X, Y, and Z?
I would say number one thing is like on your hat right now it says product is king, right? And I think um I started off as a sales rep working for high ticket offers and things of that sort. Worked for some that had, really great fulfillments and really good programs. And they had, they believed that the product was the king. They believed in taking care of people and making sure that, they were getting what they signed up for. And I've also worked with people that like they don't care at all. They just want to sell it, right? Yeah, very like unethical, right? And I think I like to think I'm someone of good ethics and morals, and I never like I never liked anytime I was like found myself in a situation where it was with someone that wasn't ethical, or I was just like I wasn't able to do my job because you just like you feel guilty, like subconscious, like you have like a subconscious like worry of like, oh, like, I don't want to sell this person because like I don't believe in this thing. And I think the number one, to answer your question, number one is like you believe that having a good product is like very important, if not everything. It's king, as it says on your hat. And I think that's, that's something that I believe in as well because you want to like if you want to build something that genuinely helps people. You don't want to just sell some program that's like, nothing, like a PDF program, you know what I mean? Like and so I really believe in that. And I think if you're someone that believes that having a good product is probably one of the most important things and genuinely like want to help people, then you should work with Kari because you're going to have the infrastructure to have that at the highest level possible, right? So that's what I would say the number one thing is like if you want to have a good program, like having a good program is how you like grow the business, with longevity, right? Because sure, you could like lie and say all these things and sure you might like make a lot of money, but there's not going to be any longevity with it. Emily is building a long-term brand. She's just getting started. And so we want the people to have a really good experience. She has a really good brand. We want the people to have a really good experience inside the program and be happy that they did it. And so I would say that's the number one thing is like having a good product is if you want to have that, then like work with Kari. Second thing is like I said, you offer so much help outside of just like placing the CSM. Like you offer so much help on the consulting side that it's like you're a really smart guy. You are super business savvy. Like you know what's going on in like the space, you know what I mean? Like the info space and all that stuff. You're super well connected. You know what's going on. You've worked with people that like you've worked with so many different types of businesses and different types of people, and you've seen what works for the different businesses. And I think that's also invaluable as well. It's just like the consulting, because I'll come to you with an idea and you're like, no, like, maybe you shouldn't do that. Or here's what this person did. And it's like, no, that's great. Like, that's great to hear because it's like, um, like, yeah, like the consulting side's just been invaluable in the best way possible because you're not just like, oh, like, here you go, like, here's the CSM, and then never talk to us. It's like, no, like, you want to talk to us every single week. And, but before, before we made a bunch of changes, we were doing, you offered to do marketing meetings with us because it was like for free. It was like, so we were doing marketing meetings, uh, you know, and then we were doing like our CSM check-in meetings. And so it's just like, you didn't have to do that. And you wanted to do it because you genuinely wanted to help and see us grow. And like that's just, a sign that you're a good person, good business owner. Like I said, you're a top 0.01% agency, just person in general as well. So um, I would say the consulting side of things. I didn't have the third reason, but I mean, yeah, we just don't have to worry about anything anymore. Like with the customers, like clients, like the product, like we just don't have to worry about anything anymore. And I would say that speaks for itself. Like we have the time freedom. We have the freedom to know that people are getting taken care of as well. Esther does a great job. She's amazing.
Hey, that was really nice to hear. And shout out Esther, one of the best CSMs I think we've ever placed, especially in your offer where um people from all shapes and walks of life come into your business in your culture program, and she can adapt to everyone. And I think because Emily's audience is so big, you needed a CSM who is adaptable and is flexible and can, change her teaching style or meeting style to hit the notes she needs to hit. But anyways, Alec, that was really great to chat. Obviously, as you know, one of my favorite clients. Pleasure to work with you guys. Sky is limit, and I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Kareem.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed watching how we helped Emily and Alex scale their business. If you own an education business, coaching, or an info product, click the first link in the description and schedule a free audit to see how we can improve your system.